Welcome to Life Beyond B.S, where we ditch the belief systems and the bullshit and get real about life. Here it's about awareness, choice, and creating joy that actually lasts. No perfection, just honest talk and powerful change. I'm your host, Heather McNally, and let's get into it. Hi, friends, and welcome back to Life Beyond B.S, where, we go beyond the belief systems and, the bullshit that society puts on us and we put on ourselves that we don't want to let hold us back anymore. I'm Heather McNally, your host, and I'm so excited today to welcome a friend and somebody that I've done some work with, and her name is Jaclyn Strominger. Jaclyn is an unstoppable success strategist, speaker, author, and host of the Unstoppable Success podcast. She works with high achieving leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals who may look successful on the outside, but inside, they're exhausted from overthinking, people pleasing, perfectionism, burnout, and constantly feeling like they have something to prove. Through her work, Jaclyn helps people reconnect with who they truly are, what they genuinely want, and how they're meant to lead their lives. She combines strategy, emotional intelligence, meaningful relationships, and aligned action to help her clients move from simply looking successful to actually feeling fulfilled. She's also the creator of the Relationship Capital Framework and co author of Charting True North. At the heart of everything she does is the belief that success isn't about doing more, chasing harder, or becoming someone you're not. It's about trusting yourself, building authentic relationships, finding your own voice, and creating a life and business that feel aligned with who you truly are. I love it so much, Jaclyn. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Heather. And I love you. So you're
I,
awesome.
I love you too. This is awesome. We met, God, it hasn't even been a year yet,
No, it hasn't been
at
a
a
year.
fun experience in New York City, and we've actually been able to get together in person, even though we live on opposite sides of the country in the US.
Yeah.
We've been able to get together a few times, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah.
Jaclyn, you have a great energy, and I just love it. So I'm so excited that you're here, and I want to know something. We heard some incredible, incredible things that you're doing in this life, which is amazing. You're serving and helping the world. But who are you at your heart and soul level?
It's a good question. And sometimes, we're always evolving, right? But at the end of the day, I'm a connector.
Hmm.
I really am a connector, and I believe in bringing people together. It's like nobody to be left behind, right?
Oh, yes.
And nobody left out. And, and but at the same time, I will say there's something about me that I will say that I have a saying. I'll be nicer if you'll be smarter,
Mm.
because um, because sorry, folks, but I there is something about common sense and people just doing the right thing. So it's more
Mm.
about like, why would you do that if that's going to hurt somebody else, right? Like it doesn't go into my brain. I don't understand that.
Hmm.
So I'm really, I love, I do, I hate the word help actually. It's more like, what can I do to support you? What can I do to be a partner with you? What can I do to lift you up? What can I do that is going to make your day a little bit better?
I love that. And help is a great word, but there's so much more. It's so much deeper than that. The
Yeah.
word help is so generic. So I love how you explain that. And connection is everything. And, the thing about connection is you're always one person away from a different life and something that you're meant for. So that's so beautiful. Before you were this unstoppable success strategist and a speaker and an author and all the things that you are, who was little Jaclyn, that little girl?
So here's the sad part about my life. I guess you could say the beginning part of my life. I always wished I was somebody else. Like, so the backstory for me and is I grew up probably like, and I say this, like a badge on my sleeve, right? because I want everybody to know you can always make a change.
Mm.
And but I grew up as the most insecure human being on the face of the planet. Like, I mean, insecurity was my first name. My real name was second. I mean, it really
Mm.
was. It was sad, right?
Girl, I can so relate to that. We could have had a competition.
Yeah. Oh no, we totally could have had the insecurity competition. I mean, like, oh God. And I grew up like, my parents, for as good as they were also like in a business level, they were horrible on the personal level. So I was horrible on the personal level. And my mother gave me the worst advice. Like,
Mm.
like the worst advice. I mean, ruined relationships. I mean,
Mm.
I can't even begin to tell you. And but I was literally the most insecure person. And so when you were saying like what did I dream of? I don't know if I dream I didn't I don't I can't say that I dreamt of anything. I I I mean, I think at one point in my life I guess the biggest thing that I always dreamed of that I was in a different family. And
Wow.
that's not a good place to be. My
Yeah.
dream was, and if she ever listens to this, well, I hope she does. I love Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand was like I loved her music, and I'm dating myself here, but we had a record player, a thing that was round and
Oh, yes,
vinyl,
I
whatever,
do.
right? And in my living room, family room, we had a beautiful fireplace,
Hmm.
and it had this tiny little hearth. And by the way, I cannot sing for shit, okay? But holy crow, I put that song on and I would belt it,
Hmm.
right? And I would dream that I was rescued by Barbara Streisand.
Wow.
We would be driving, like those are my dreams. I didn't dream of being something. I dreamed of being in a different family.
Wow.
That was always my dream. And we would drive to New Jersey a lot to visit my grandparents, and I would always think, okay, is this going to be the rest stop where I'm going to see my real mother and my
Wow.
and it, and sad because my mother and I were pretty close, and I had absolutely zippo relationship with my dad. I mean, my dad was my biological dad, and he's still my biological dad. Um, but how I grew up and whatever, my dad basically ignored me until I was basically 15. And it showed in so many different areas. So I couldn't, I never wanted to be in my family.
Hmm.
So again, that insecurity spread out. I had a big nose, I had cross eyes, and so nose got changed when I was 16. I had two surgeries. I still like to do another one, but I'm not going to go there. Um, and my eye was crossed when I was a kid, and then I had surgery when I was 6, and then my right eye got weaker, and so that became a lazy eye, and then I didn't have that surgery until I was 25. And I remember this like going to the doctor when I was this is my third career in my third company I'm working for in New York, and I go uh, just go to get my eyes checked because I'm used to getting my eyes checked. So I go get my eyes checked by this guy, Dr. Julius Schulman. And Julius Schulman says to me, Jaclyn, he goes, you're a good looking girl. Why haven't you had your eye fixed? Holy buckets of bawling eyes.
Mm.
I was like, because the doctor that I was going to in Boston wouldn't do the surgery. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
right? So left that. I mean, this is actually a funny story in the sense that this actually led me to meet my husband. Okay.
Oh.
So I ended up, he said, you need to go see this guy. His name is Jay Woznicki. Jay Woznicki is a pediatric ophthalmologist, and he does the eye muscle surgery. Fast forward, I get my eye surgery. I book my eye surgery. I get it done. I'm probably the only person he said that ever put a surgery on hold because I was getting my dive certification. Kind of funny. Like you can't go diving until you get that, whatever. Anyway, so whatever. So get my eye surgery done, and then Jay and I become friends. I become his fill-in date for a bunch of different things, and then he ended up introducing me to my husband, who is also
Wow.
a pediatric ophthalmologist. He's a pediatric neuro ophthalmologist. Blah blah blah. But suffice to say, I went. from, those formative, crazy teen years. Like, I'm talking middle school all the way through college. And I was like, insecurity was my middle name.
Mm,
And it was the work. I mean, you had to work on myself. Like I had to work on myself. And I will be the first person to tell you that I used people because I didn't know any better because that's what I was taught by my parents in a
hmm
lot of ways. From the
hmm
personal connections, not on the business side. Business was totally different. But, it was, somebody basically called me out and I said, I need to change. And I started working on myself and I started doing different things. I mean, I was afraid to do things by myself because I was
mm,
afraid of being, the rejection. I was always really, really good about getting so far with you. But oh man, I mean, I ruined lots of friendships and lots of relationships because I would rather be the one to hurt you instead of me being hurt,
hmm
right? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna piss all over you and shit on you because I don't
Yeah.
want you to shit on me. I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna
I
get to you
can
before you get me.
truly relate to that, but I did the opposite where instead of pissing people off that way, I internalized all of it and I was like, well, I know I'm the piece of shit, so I'm going to tell everybody around me that that's what I am, and I'm going to put myself down left and right so that you can't hurt me any worse than I can already hurt myself. Believe me, I know
Right.
that I'm a piece of shit. I know I'm not worth friends. I know all this stuff. And so when I said it, it made people uncomfortable and it made people go, oh, but no, that's not who you are. And that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for, like, I know I'm crap. You don't have to tell me. But instead, what it did was made me feel worse about myself and it pushed people away. So I completely
Yeah.
understand just a
Right.
slight
Yeah.
variation.
Yeah. Variation. Yeah. So, it got for me, it was that person of who I was. If I was, and here's a crazy thing. If I was talking to somebody older, totally different. If I was in business, totally different.
Hmm
It was peer to peer that I was insecure.
Yeah.
That peer to peer relationship, or what I conceived of, right?
hmm
I was great with adults, or I was great with people that were older than me. I could
hmm
talk my way into anything as
I get
long
that.
as you were not going to be my friend.
I get that too. And I used to say, literally, when somebody did want to be my friend, I can't believe you want to be my friend. I can't believe it. Why would you want to be my friend? And they'd be like, why not? You're fun, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't see any of that. So did you have people in your life from when you were younger that are still in your life in some way that can say, wow, you've really changed, or what they actually saw in you versus what you saw in yourself?
It's funny. So fast forward, okay? So I've done a lot of work, I get married, whatever. Fast forward, I'm now living in Boston, back in Boston. I went from Boston to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh to New York, New York back to Boston. And funny because, you know, uh, I would run into people that I went to high school with.
Hmm.
People that I thought, like, people that were shit, like that kind of shit on me, that were just obnoxious. They're like, oh, like this one girl, I still never, she's like, I ran into her in this bakery. She's like, hi, she's like, oh my God. She's like, hey, Jaclyn. I'm like, she's like, do you remember me? I'm Terry. And I'm like, yes, I know exactly who you are. She's chit chat chatting and like, why are you talking to me? You
hmm
were such a whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and so then I became, it was funny because we started skiing up at in Loon, New Hampshire, at Loon Mountain. And I'm sitting there one day picking up my daughter from ski school. And I see this guy and I look at him and I'm like, Jimmy? And he's like, hey, Jaclyn, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And they also called me by my other name, which we don't go there. So I'm like, whatever. Um, and so literally the next day, because our kids were, we didn't realize that our kids were friends because they were in the same ski group.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so the next day, he's like, you got to meet my wife. She's been skiing by herself because he was a ski instructor. I meet his wife, Gail. and literally we become friends, like really good friends. And then from that, like there's this like other group that's I started bringing people into this. I created this humongo community, and I say I did because truly, I would meet somebody. I said, "Oh, come and sit with us. Oh, come and join us over here. Come on." And I ended up creating this massive community. Of course, when we left, they were like, "Yeah, there goes the community. It went to pieces." But anyway, but so it's funny because you know it was my friend. So he was really good friends with this guy Lee, and unfortunately, Jimmy passed away.
Mm.
Um, and Lee said something to me. He said, "Yeah, we were all so insecure in high school," and I'm like, and he said something to me, and I'm like, he goes, "I thought you were a friend of mine." I go, "I thought you all hated me." Like,
Mm.
it's like what's in our brain and what, again, it's what we tell ourselves, right? And we don't, we're so young and dumb, right?
Mm.
And like, so that we don't realize that everybody else is going through this too. Everybody
Right.
else is just as insecure.
Right.
Everybody else is just as uncomfortable.
And when you're a child and when you're young like that, your brain hasn't fully formed, you are egocentric, not in a jerky way that people think of ego when you're an adult and
Right,
egomaniacal and
right,
egotistical, but you're trying to just build your world. You're trying to
right,
get your brain to understand what the rules are and how I can interact and everything. So everyone's super
right.
insecure. Some
Everybody,
people play
right,
it off a different way than other people. Like I was the one who closed off and, oh, telling all these awful things about myself, other people puff themselves up and make themselves the everything to everybody, and there's everywhere in between.
right.
But we don't understand at that young age that
Everybody else is
everyone's
going through
feeling
it.
exactly
Yeah,
the same way.
yeah.
They
And
just show it different.
right, we show it different. And I just remember Lee saying something to me, and I was like, "Huh? Right? Really?"
Yeah.
And and I really did not stay connected with people from high school, but I have friends like, so I when I my first very 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 first job in my career in New York, I worked at, funny enough, Success magazine.
Hmm.
And I was and I'm thinking to myself, and I was rooming with two girls from college, and it was weird. And I met this one girl, and I'm in the elevator, and I see this girl about my age, and I introduce myself, and because I'm like, we gotta start working on ourselves. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna introduce I shouldn't say that. I always introduce myself. It was just, how do we go beyond, right? How do
Hmm.
we become friends? So she and I became really good friends, and to this day we're still good friends. I mean, to this day I can pick up the phone and I can say, "Hey, Lynn." I mean, she was in my wedding, so really good friends, and amazing friend. And so there are people from, even in like I do still have friends from college, but are they as tight as I would have loved them to be? No. It was like, and I always kid around. I say college was more my high school.
Yeah. And again, our brains aren't fully formed till like what, 25 or even older,
Right.
possibly.
Yeah.
And so you go to college and you're not necessarily who you're going to be. Sure, there are pieces and parts, but it's not necessarily who you're going to be. And sometimes I think because we're trying to fit in and we're trying to figure out who we are, we put out this person that maybe we think we are, maybe we
Yeah.
think we're supposed to be. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's trying to play a role, it's trying to figure out who you are.
Who we are. Right.
So you
Yeah.
change a lot.
And so it's funny. So I go to this great university, and it was funny. People would say to me like, "Oh my God, you were like," they were afraid of me because I was a doer. Like,
Mm.
I took more classes, I kept doing, and and I didn't realize this persona that I had put on. And I had some people, and I was in a sorority, and some of the girls were like, "Ooh, we really like you, but we're afraid that you're going to judge us because you're like perfect."
Ah.
I'm like, I am not perfect.
But isn't it amazing how you perceive yourself
Right. And
and
then,
they
like,
perceive you and they're definitely not matching up?
oh, so not. It was
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
So funny. But yeah,
So
so. Yeah.
when you decided that you were gonna follow this career into New York and you're still in this place where I'm still figuring this out, I'm still trying to figure out who I am and trying to have some confidence, what gave you the confidence to do that, to make that move?
Oh, see, that was the easy part for me. That was easy. The hardest part was actually my roommates because they were also from college,
Hmm.
and we didn't see eye to eye on the apartment and things like that. So that part was kind of weird. But I had no problem moving to New York. I had no problem having the courage to, because I was focused on my career. I just
Hmm.
knew what I wanted to do. So I'm like, I need to go to New York. I need to get this job. And I was this, if I told you how many cover letters I sent out.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, by the way, that's real mail, like actual snail mail people.
Yes, yes, back in the day.
Cover letter
Yep.
and a resume and following up like, hey, did you get my resume?
Hmm.
I'm a senior in college, blah blah
No
blah.
emails, phone calls.
No
Yep.
emails. It was a letter and a phone call. Letters
Yep.
and phone calls. Did you get that? Um, and I made sure I had a job before I graduated. Like I
Mm.
was not going to be one of those people that was looking for a job. I'm like, I will make sure I have a job. So I graduated, I had a job, I was moving to New York, I was trying to figure out where I was going to live. And that was the easy part. The hardest part was trying to figure out the person I wanted to be. Like,
Hmm.
how do I become that? And this is actually, my first couple of paths and careers and the places that I worked were great. And this is the hardest part for me was that my third company that I worked for, I was always trying to, okay, I'm like, this company is going to help me get
Hmm.
expertise experience, and this is going to get me the next one. And the third, I should actually, it was the fourth company. The fourth company that I worked at, my my boss there like derailed my plans. He was in hindsight, like it was, you don't realize you're going through it. Like I said I was going to go get my master's, I had this plan, I was going to get, and he basically talked me out of it. He then, I mean, it was like all these little things. It was a little bit of things to talk me down and then a little bit to build me up to keep me there, and it was the
Mm.
weirdest relationship. And then I wanted to get into sales and he said you don't do that. I mean, it was like instead of instead of saying to me, okay, Jaclyn, what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to, how do you want to grow? It was, we had no focus on my career. We
Mm.
had no path. And that was something that, like, as soon, it should have been a flag, but I got so wrapped up in the company. And I mean, I liked the company that I was working for and I loved the people. And we got so wrapped up that I forgot about my own
Yes.
goals and where and there's like this person who's telling you stuff and that's knocking you down. It's and sort of building you up at
Yes.
the same time. You know what I mean?
And when it happens one little piece by one little piece,
You
it's
don't realize it.
easy to not recognize it because it's little things. It's little comments, and maybe that wasn't meant this way, and maybe I'm taking it personally. But if you look back, you go, oh, like you said, I kind of got derailed because every little step, every little comment, every little thought that he shared with you then changed your heart, changed your mind, changed and it's very easy, I think, when it's not a blatant, I'm saying this, wait, no, I
Right.
don't agree with that kind of statement or
Yeah.
judgment or something like that. Very different. Very
Right.
different. It's easy to lose yourself if you aren't checking
Yeah.
in with yourself all the time.
Right. Yeah. Um, so I think like a lot of us, I was, I went to a therapist and she helped in a lot of different ways.
Mm.
Um, and I really started working on myself, but in like I did like Myers-Briggs tests. I
Hmm.
did like, I I took Dale Carnegie courses. I took some other I started taking courses at some of the other school like schools. But you start working on yourself and you have to decide like I'm gonna get outside my comfort zone and do stuff. Put my
Yes.
foot down.
Yes. And that's an interesting point is that when you see something and you become aware of a situation, right? That alone does not make you change.
No.
And it's not just awareness to choice, it's awareness, and then you have to acknowledge it and own it.
Yeah.
And do it in a non-judgmental way. Like, okay, I'm not where I want to be. I see that. Okay, this is where I think it's going to help me. What's going to help me grow? What's going to help me do whatever? And then you decide and you
Right.
make that choice. And it's little step by little step, like you said, taking the courses, knowing that there was something inside of you that there's got to be something different and I want to make this choice. So when you look at all of this now, your life experience with feeling inadequate, your life experience with feeling that you needed to have physical changes, although I'm sorry that you felt that way at such a young age to have to, 16 years old to be having surgery because there's something about you you don't like about yourself. And that's a tough, tough thing to go through. And at such a tender age when you're
Oh God.
hormonal and you're in high school and you're trying to figure it all out. So when did you actually get to a place where you could say, I actually like looking at myself in the mirror. I like the woman that I've become.
So it was actually really funny. So I always say this, and a lot of people can probably will be able to relate to this. So I I was taking on different roles, and I'm building this like kind of like community up at Loon, and then I got involved in what I always say is self improvement in a product. I got involved in network
Mm.
marketing,
Hmm.
and it was when I started. This is actually kind of funny. I never wanted to do network marketing. I'm like, here I am, right? Like you go to this, I'm like, I'll go to this great university. I'm going to do network marketing, right?
Hmm.
Um, but what I found was I went to this one conference and there was a woman that spoke and she was a coach and she just resonated with, I just loved her message and I hired her. Um, because I wanted to learn I wanted to know what I didn't know.
Hmm.
And then we started working together and then I hired a different coach and it was over this period of time where because I started to I had now had two kids and I didn't want my kids to grow up the way I ever did, right?
Hmm.
I wanted to make sure that I had good kids who were more secure in themselves. And so through the coaching, through a therapist, through me literally setting out, it's one of the things I tell people about now all the time. How do you want to see yourself in 5 years?
Hmm.
What is that vision and mission? Where do you want to be? And it was, it didn't happen. It doesn't happen overnight, but do you remember in 2020, right? 2020. Everybody was sending, okay, show us the 10-year pictures, right?
Oh, yes.
Like what did you look like in 2010 and what do you look like now? And it was literally a 10-year span where I went, you know, I when I got married, I mean I liked who I was. And I
Hmm.
liked but and I was growing into the person I was. But it was over this 10-year period of time where I had started a business, not network marketing, but I had started my own business, got successful, was doing some other things, got into network marketing, was still doing all, and just saw a different success outside of a corporate life
Hmm.
because I was probably one of those people that had corporate jobs where I had a lot of lousy leaders. So
Hmm.
when I started just leading myself, it was like the world opened up,
Hmm.
right? And when I still to this day, I look back at that 2010 and 2020 picture and I see two different people.
Yeah.
The same person, right? But
Hmm.
the look on my face from 2010 to the look on my face from 2020,
Yeah.
crazy different.
Yep.
Crazy different.
And isn't it amazing where you can look at a photo and you can almost feel who you were
Oh,
and
God.
then who you are and what has changed. And like I can look at myself and see pictures of myself from 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, and I go, oh, that was somebody who was trying to be happy, who loved her family, but didn't love herself. And I can see now the joy that I have in my face. And, am I
Yeah,
where I want
the
to be
joy.
completely? No, of course not. But I think we're always looking for a way to grow, a way to be better, a way to serve better, and a way to be better in
Hopefully.
the world. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I mean, that's what we're all works in progress, right?
Hmm.
So, depending upon, I don't know, name the book. I feel like I listen to so many different books, but it's like, right? Like, think about the end in mind. No offense. Like,
Hmm.
I know it's a little morbid, but think of your funeral. And if you could write your eulogy, how
Hmm.
would you want it to say? What do you want
Yeah.
people to say?
Yep. And
You
that's
know,
something that I was forced to face when my mom was dying. And it was over a long period of time, like more than a decade. But in the very end, I was there with her for her, last days, weeks, to her last breath. And what I will say about it is that yes, it was difficult. Yes, I would give anything to have her back here today, but I saw what she did and I saw how hard she fought. And it was all incredibly beautiful in the respect that I could look at a person's choice and grit and resilience and choices that they have made and the grace in making choices, and I can look at it all and from that point of view of wow, here she is talking about things that she did in her life, and I'm thinking, and I'm a very deep thinker so
yeah,
and feeler, so I would sit there and think wow, like she's talking about her home that she built, about having children, about her career, about her friends and family, and I could sit there and see almost like a story coming up of I did this and then I was here and then I was here and like I loved all of it and I wouldn't do it, most things different, and I thought that's what I want to be able to say.
right,
That's what I want to be able to look back and say I loved as hard as I could. I lived as hard as I could. I focused on what I really wanted. And that's what got me to decide to have a business. It took me a long time to get there because I had my own internal BS to still deal with. But yeah, looking back, what do you want to be able to say?
right. And so, you know, when I think to that persona, right? And I think, how do I when I walk out of the house, like, you know, no, I don't want it to be like I want how I want people, it's got to be perfect. It's like
Yeah.
who's the person that I want to be to everybody else?
Yeah.
And if I can, again, how can I make somebody's day a little bit better?
Hmm.
It could just be that I let you in on the freeway, right? Like
Hmm.
it could be that I said hello to you at the grocery store. It could
Yep.
be that I smiled, right? So when you think about, I'll share, I love to hike and I love to be outside in nature and I love flowers and I love color. Um, and so this happened yesterday. So I went on this, my husband and I went on this hike yesterday, and we went with this other couple. We literally met the other couple last weekend on a hike. We passed them, and we ended up catching up. They caught up to us. We just started chit-chatting. Our dog kind of started hurting us all, kind of thing. We just started chit-chatting, and we, just started having this conversation. By the time we got down, right, to the, whatever. And it wasn't an easy hike, by the way. I'm like, it was, a 8 mile hike up, and I mean 8 mile hike round trip, and it was pretty strenuous on the way up. And so they were sitting there talking about how their doing this training for, they're doing it's called like what, TBS, TB something, whatever, and it's like Switzerland. Oh, it's 3 areas, whatever. Don't ask me. It's a cool hike. Looks really cool. Anyway, it's like walk. Anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. But anyway, suffice to say, I I said, we exchanged, we did the photo bump, right? Which, usually if you go on my phone, I have to text you right away because I will never find you
Mm,
again. So
yes.
right? So I texted them and we talked about possibly hiking again. And I said, hey, we're gonna go do this hike in South Lake. I'm in Reno, Nevada, so it's like South Lake Tahoe. It's a 10-mile hike, round trip. And I'm like, do you guys want to come? Do you want to join us? And I go, and we have to be there if we're gonna go early, we like to go early. So what do you think about meeting at the trailhead between 7:30, like 7:30, 8 o'clock? Like 7:30, we're good. I'm like, great. Literally, we met them. Great hike, so much fun,
Mm,
beautiful. I mean, like it is a stunning hike. Like when you get to this lake up in the mountains, and it was a little cold for me to swim. It was a little cool here yesterday. Dog loved it, but oh my God, breathtakingly beautiful, right?
mm,
Um, we get down and the gentleman says to me, he goes, I can't begin to tell you, I can't thank you enough for actually reaching out. It really says a lot about you.
mm,
Really says a lot about you. And I almost want to cry because I feel like they don't know a ton of people here, and we
mm,
we like to meet people, and it's like, okay, like, and what the one thing that I thought about yesterday is I need to start building my own community here. Not that I
mhm,
wasn't, but in some ways I wasn't thinking about it. Like, and I said, you know what, and I said to myself, Jaclyn, you are going to start to build the community that you had in New Hampshire at your ski
mm.
mountain here.
Yeah.
Start building it. And not that I didn't want to do it, but in some ways I wasn't really, it wasn't, there was a lot of other roadblocks, and there was a lot of,
Mhm,
and for lack of a better word, like there was some negativity that was going on the last couple of years with, I had a business partner for something else, and it was like, and some other things that were going on. I'm like, let me just almost like do a reset
mhm.
on that part. And
Yeah.
I just want to start building a big community because
Mhm.
I know how to do that. I'm all about
Yes.
connections.
Yeah.
I know how to bring people in. I know how to make and it doesn't matter if I'm not their best friend. Like I already did it with two people. Like I invited a bunch of ladies over to my house, and two people live in this one community. I don't live there. So they still get together, you know, like I almost was an afterthought, right? But who
Yeah.
cares? I'm
Yeah.
making like, let's get people together and make this great community of people. And
Yes, and
maybe,
that's so important because connection is, and I say this all the time, connection, there's like six pillars to a healthy brain I learned through my brain science teacher, and connection is second only to sleep and rest for what your brain truly
yeah,
needs. We're here in this world to connect. We
right,
can't survive without it. So
right.
it's easy to kind of fall into old habits and your routines, but when you take the time like you did to reach out to somebody, make the connection like you met them there, and then you're like, you know what, let's do this.
Yeah,
And what beautiful things, what beautiful connection you made for yourself, for them. They saw a new area and you had
right.
a great time. That is what this world is about. And this world is about moments and the journey, not the destination. So, yeah, you got to see the lake, right? But you also had all the
Oh,
experience getting there and getting back, the
oh,
connection between the two of you, the other sites you got to see. It's
right.
amazing.
And so, and we, I learned, so it was this guy and his wife, and we just, it was beautiful. And like the whole day. And so the reason why I'm like, I sat back last night and, you know, um, we we redid our backyard, and we have, I'm again like flowers, whatever. But when I put my head on the pillow last night, I was like, you know, I just said, thank you God for, and I'm not into religion, but it was more
Mhm.
like, thank you for allowing me to be able to have this great day and be
Mhm.
part of and have these two new people in my life,
Mm.
and in my husband's life. And I don't know, I just, it's like if you can put your head on the pillow at night and be able to say, I did something good today. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be big.
Yeah.
you know Again, if it's the smile you make, and I was telling you before, like today, it's like I was helping my dad with part of his business and where he's going with like making it an impact. And I'm like, if I can help, I help my dad, a person who, I could have hold a grudge for the rest of my life about how we
Mhm.
were, but I didn't. you know if I can help my dad with his business, if I can help somebody else, and make again just a little bit. And if each and every one of us, every single day, can make a little bit of a difference, think of how much different the world would be,
Absolutely.
right?
It's a beautiful thing to think of and to see and to witness and to feel
Yeah.
in your soul when you do help somebody, when you see something beautiful happening, even if you're not involved in it, seeing two people
Right.
interacting. So tell me a little bit about how you were able to maybe repair a little bit of the relationship with your parents and how you had that part of your life, your childhood, inform how you wanted to raise your family.
So the relationship with my parents has gone, it's like everything in life, highs and lows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my mom and I were really close. Then my dad had realized when I was 15 what he did. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to make amends, and he's done a lot of work to make amends. So we've worked on that relationship. Then, of course, when I had kids, oh my God, watch
Mm-hmm.
out, ladies and gentlemen, for those baby monitors, because I was pissed off at my mother and I let loose with the baby monitor, and she was downstairs. So, so that was another trying time, right? Like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's about communication. You have
Yeah.
to sit down and talk. I've had long conversations with my mother. I've had long conversations with my dad. It's funny. My mom used to, I mean, this was one of the things. My mom was very opinionated about certain things, or she would, um, you know, critical in not such a great way. Like she's, I mean, funny in some ways when you can look back on it. She said things to me like, "Oh, I knew you were pregnant the first time I had three miscarriages. The first time she's like, because your boobs got bigger and you gained,
Mm,
like, because your boobs are bigger and you were fat." I was like, thanks, mom. Right?
mm,
Or I don't know, she'd come into my house and she's like, I don't like how you've got, she wouldn't even say I don't like how you've got things decorated. She'd just move things around.
mm.
And so, when you have a baby, you're hormonal. There was like one day I was like, right? Anyway, conversations. We had to talk about it. And I was just said, Mom, it got to here
Mm.
because I hadn't spoken to you about it. And the same, like my dad, it's like, we have to repair. So, you know, again, it's all about the communication that you have, and you have to make a choice. And
Yeah.
before I had kids, I was going to a therapist, and I said, because I said I don't want to do what my mom did to me, in the sense of being so judgmental about everything, my
Mhm.
weight, my looks, like and so the one thing that the therapist said to me is you have to make a choice. You have to choose. You are not going to change her. You will
Mhm.
never change her. So you have to decide how you want to be. Do
Mhm.
you want to just accept her and deal and understand and have those frustrations? Or do you want to take her out of your life? You
Mhm.
And so I chose to deal with the idiosyncrasies of both of my parents, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because they
Mhm.
are my parents. And like a lot of us, I blamed them for my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I blamed them. I'm like, oh God, I wish my parents did this better. I wish my parent. And at some point, I just said, no, actually, you got to own it. You got to own your
Yes.
own stuff. You have
Yeah.
to own the choices that you make. You have to own what you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And and this is why I always say, everybody, you should, if you not therapy, have a coach. Have
Yeah.
a coach. Because whether you're in business and life, it's they help you own your shit. Talking
Mm-hmm.
about your BS, like the bullshit,
Yeah.
right? They
Yep.
help you own it. And
I
they
think there's definitely a place and time for therapy.
yeah,
However, when you get to a certain place in therapy where you've dealt with maybe your past, you understand who you are and all that, then it's time to go, all right, I'm now currently and future focused. And
right,
I, like you said, I get to make a choice. Do I want this person in my life or not? Do I want to behave this
right.
way or not? Do I want this life or that life?
Yeah. And with coaching, I mean, one of the things I do, I mean, we still bring out things that like make you believe and the gremlins that you have and how they have,
Yeah.
but it was through that and and me deciding where I wanted to go in my life.
Mhm.
What were my goals? How did I,
Right.
like, I say this a lot. If you, each and every one of us has to be the CEO of ourselves. We have to
Mm-hmm.
be the CEO.
Your own life.
How do I need to be the CEO of me?
Mm-hmm.
And what's it going to take me to get to be the CEO? And
Mm-hmm.
so it was through that and trust me, like, life is not perfect, right? And my
Mm-mm.
life is certainly not perfect. We're always working on ourselves. We're all like, you again, like I said, we're all works in progress.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I will say that is truly magical now is, I moved to Reno in 2018. By the way, if you don't know where Reno is, it's closer to Lake Tahoe and closer to San Francisco. I feel like I always need to give the geography lesson. Sorry for
Mm.
that. We are not near Vegas. Um, but in 2020, my parents made the choice to move. They had moved from Massachusetts to New Hampshire to Florida. They chose to leave Florida and move to Reno.
Mm.
I had not lived in the same state as my parents since I was 18.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be good or this is going to be really bad.
Mm.
I mean, think about this. This is kind of funny. My mom lived 2.5 hours away from me when I was living in Massachusetts, and she made something called noodle kugel. And she was supposed to come down and stay with the kids, and something changed. And she was like, "I've got this noodle kugel that I made. I'm just going to come and drive down." Literally, she drove 2.5 hours and drove down to deliver it. Who does that? Who drives 2.5 hours to deliver noodle kugel? My mom.
Mm.
Anyway, so I was like, this is going to be really an interesting. It's either going to be really great and and I will tell you, it has been beautiful.
Oh, that's
Yes,
great.
like do my parents do things that drive myself, my husband, my daughter, my son crazy? Of
Hmm.
course. But at the same time, because they're here, my kids have been able to develop an amazing relationship with their grandparents.
Yeah,
Something that I never had. And my son has such a beautiful relationship with my dad.
that's great.
Like I and I remember saying, so um I have a really great relationship with my cousins on one side, on my dad's side. And I remember saying to my cousin Jay, because he was really close with our grandparents in common.
Mm.
And I said, "You had such a great relationship with, with Grandpa Lester and Grandma Barbara." And he said they were beautiful people. And I said, "I never knew them." Like, and so I remember saying, like, I want to make sure if I can do what you had
Mm.
with them, but, with my kids, with
Hmm.
with at least one set.
Yeah.
And we've been able to do that. So,
Yep.
um, so it's, again, always working on it. And yeah, they do things and you're just like, what the heck?
Yeah. But
But
we're all individual. We're all
right,
unique
right,
individuals, and everybody. does things differently. You just have to decide how you're going to do.
Right. How do you want to respond? And how do you, how do you respond? And that's
Hmm.
a choice. You can either be annoyed or you could laugh it off.
Yeah.
You'd be like, that's just them.
Yep.
That's who they are. We just have to accept them. Do
Hmm.
they make decisions that we wish were different? Of course.
Yeah.
But I think it's at some point you just realize, you know, some things you can live with and some things you have a choice. And some of the
Yeah.
bullshit is great and some of it is not. And you can keep the stuff that, you can laugh off certain things, but again, it's all about the choice that you make and how do you want to respond? How do you act?
Absolutely.
And trust me, like I catch myself sometimes, I'm like, oh my God, I got so angry at that, or that really annoyed me, or that really bothered me.
Mm.
If if it now there are some things that have happened recently where I've literally been like, okay, the way so and so did something or what something, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to make a choice to not be involved with that person,
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
their values and how they are doing things. I am going to, sometimes you need to clean house.
Yeah.
And one of the things that is also really important when we're talking about connections is who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with,
Hmm.
right? So y- I will say to everybody, take an audit of who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
If you are not surrounding yourself with people that you want to elevate up to or to be up here with,
Time to
who are
take
the people?
stock.
Yeah, take stock
Yes.
in who you are spending your time with. If
Absolutely. And I
those,
can attest to that until the cows come home because I have had points in my life where I was, it's an energetic vibration thing. Literally everything in this world is energy. You look at a
right,
solid wall, technically it's not solid. Technically it's made up of atoms and atoms are always moving. So we, of course, are human living beings. We are vibrating and we're vibrating at whatever level our mind is at. If we're feeling like crap and we're down and we're depressed and we're negative, that's what where we're vibrating. That's what you're bringing into your life. And so
yeah,
you can pull people up or down to you. And so I have definitely been in those places where I've had relationships with people that uh, brought me down, that I brought myself down. And now that I'm in such a different place in my life where I've done so much work on myself and I've figured things out as time goes on with therapy, with coaches, with reading, with, friends,
right,
with all the things life teaches us. And you get to choose what you're going to learn and where you're going to go from there. And I
right,
have gone so high up compared to where I used to be that the people like you that I invite into my world now that just kind of naturally come into my world, just like you had these new people that you met hiking. You
right.
meet these people, you're all vibrating at a higher level, and yeah, you're going to find that you feel better, that you find
Oh,
the hummingbird coming to your hummingbird feeder as
right.
exciting as going on a trip. And we've talked about this.
Yeah,
And when you can find that, I have goosebumps thinking about it. That is what makes this journey of life so fun and exciting and interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So,
does. And I say it all the time. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Your
yes.
vibe attracts your tribe. And
Yep.
if you need to elevate your vibe, again, sometimes it starts with, like I will tell everybody, get outside, get to nature, take a walk, you
Mm-hmm.
know, get connecting with people that I don't, when I say lift you up, it's not about gushing on you and like
No.
being, throwing you compliments. It's just like their energy is a positive energy and it makes you a happy, it puts a smile on your face.
Yeah.
If the person that you're talking to is not helping you make us not smile, whatever, not, smiling,
Yeah.
maybe
If you have plans with somebody and your first thought when that day comes is, "Ugh, I have to get together with them," or "Oh, I'm not in the mood," or, "Oh, I'm gonna end up coming home feeling like crap because it's gonna be negative," or you got to look at it and say, what's going on
what?
here and figure
Yeah,
it out for yourself because Do you really want to be feeling like that? That doesn't mean that the person's a bad person. That just means you may not be vibrating at the same place.
Right.
And maybe you need to look elsewhere, find other people that you can connect with that will bring you up, that you bring up. And it's mutual. It's not
Right.
exclusive one on one person or the other. You feed off of each other.
And sometimes it could be a season too. It could be,
Yeah.
like that person is for me not okay right now for whatever reason. And then
Mhm.
you could see them again in like 6 months and they're like, oh, it's so great to see you. And like there's a different energy because we're all, again, we've said it 1,000 times, we're all works in progress. So maybe
Mhm.
they did something. So again, sometimes we need to have people come in and out of our lives for different
Mhm.
things.
Right.
Again, it's not like it's not bad,
Right.
you know, but
Yeah, and it doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to drop you as a friend or anything. It
right.
just means, okay, maybe I will try to take steps to try to do something to help the person. And if they're not willing to take the help, well, maybe I need to take a step back right now and
Yeah.
readdress the situation later and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Nothing's bad or good specifically. It's just, it is what it is. And you get to choose what it is you want for yourself.
Yeah.
So that brings me to thinking about like you work with successful people or at least people who look successful on the outside, right? But inside, maybe they're just haven't realized this yet, haven't done the work on themselves yet. And I can tell you from personal experience, I have worked in places in my past life that the person was just not a good leader. Maybe they were unhappy with themselves. Maybe they were negative. Maybe they had a boss that was pushing down on them and not raising them up as a leader. So then they kind of shared that on. So if somebody's feeling unfulfilled on the inside, whether it be they hate what they're doing, or they don't feel good about themselves, or they're in bad relationships themselves, or whatever it might be, why do you think so many people confuse like achievement with fulfillment when they
Mhm.
sit there and they think, well, if I get this job and I do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to feel better. But that's not always true. I mean, look at people who are actors, super famous, making millions of dollars, and they still end up depressed, angry, um, not wanting to continue in this world. Tell me a little bit about what you think about that.
So fulfillment and because it's interesting. So you think about what makes people feel good because it might not be that that's actually what they want, right? And you have to really think about, I don't want to just say your why, because you could have all the money in the world, as you just said. You have an actor or an actress, they have all the money in the world.
And the fans and the
And
people helping them and everything, but that doesn't make it, yeah.
so I personally believe that it's the people that are around you. It's the other people that are in your life. Just because you're famous, what's going to make you happy? And you have to
Hmm.
look at that. You have to really look at, what do I really like? Maybe it's maybe I'm not surrounding myself with the right people.
Hmm.
Maybe I need to, you know, maybe I actually need to take a break from what I'm doing and actually really look at what I love to do and why. Maybe they love acting, but maybe they're acting in action films and they really want to be
Mm.
doing, you know, Shakespeare, right?
Yep.
Um, and and here's the interesting, and I can put it in the sense of, and because it happens, I think, more times than we think. You set a goal to reach something because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get to this next level, right? So you work your butt off. So whether you're an actor, you get the big film, you're in a corporate role and you get to be the CEO, because that's the next step. And you get
Hmm.
there. You get to where you is, or you get this great new title. Yay! Woohoo! Now what?
Yeah.
Now what? And you think, and you feel empty because it didn't align with really who you are. And there
Mm-hmm.
was some, maybe you did want the title, but maybe there was something in there that was not aligned with you. And that's where you have to really think, why am I going after that role? Why
Mm-hmm.
am I going after this? Why do I want that title? Do I really want to be the CEO of a company? Maybe you
Mm.
don't. So what if you don't? You have to admit to yourself what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, and can money buy all the great, beautiful things in the world? Yes. But if you're, as you said earlier, if you're not connected with other people,
Mm-hmm.
if you are missing something in your life, all of those things are great, but you're going to feel empty.
Yeah.
So, you think about, so many people get to the end and they're like, I had all this money, but did you spend it on the right things?
Right.
Like, did the Ferrari really make you happy? Or would
Mm-hmm.
it have been a little bit better if you spent more time with your kid?
Yep.
Right. So, why? Like, and
And think about that too, like a Ferrari versus maybe I'll take the money and go on a month-long vacation. If you have that kind of money with your family, your
with your family.
friends, that you create memories.
Yeah.
Which one is it that you're going to cherish,
Yeah.
really?
And so there is a really good, it's a little, it's a good book, but I listened to it. It's a little repetitive in some ways, but it's called Die with Zero. And the whole premise of the book really is die with zero,
Hmm.
meaning the sense that you can't take the money with you.
Right.
And if you have children and you want to give them money, give it to them while you're alive so
Mm,
so you can see them use the money for good and see the smile on their face,
hmm.
not when you're dead,
Yeah.
right? Like, how can you make that impact right now? So you just said, like, take the money for instead of spending on the Ferrari and go, what if you got everybody that you knew
Hmm.
together and you had them to your house? Oop, there goes my dog hitting the camera. Um, what if you got everybody together on an island,
Mm,
splurged, and took everybody, paid for the airfare, paid for the food, pay whatever, just you covered every expense. Think about the memories
hmm.
that will make.
And all the lives that you touched and created memories for them. And yes,
I
you're
mean,
creating so much beauty.
it becomes an like I just keep thinking like your face is going to hurt
Mm,
because of the smiles. Like the muscles in your face are going to ache in a good way.
yeah.
So make those memories. So that to me is like the emptiness because we get, what is it? What's worth more? Is it a new sofa or is it a pair of shoes or is it the memory that you can make by taking your kids someplace
Hmm. Or helping somebody that needs help.
or helping somebody, right? Like maybe you donate some money to a shelter,
Hmm.
but pick something that makes your heart sing. Maybe it's battered women, maybe
Yeah.
it's battered men, maybe it's cancer treatments.
Or
Maybe,
you said your dog, maybe it's
right.
animals,
Maybe it's
animals that need
animals.
rescuing.
Right. Like picks and and it's amazing how we get so caught up in what other people think and other people like, oh my God, I need to have this. I need to show this. But in actuality, what if you said instead of if I had X, Y, or Z, what impact can I use?
Mm,
What impact can I have? What's
yeah.
the small thing that I can do? And it doesn't have to be all about the money. It could be that you just volunteer.
Hmm.
It could be that you're volunteering your time.
Oh, one of the things that I've heard about that I want to do someday is They say that they want volunteers to hold babies in like NICU units and in the hospital. And I'm like, sign me up. Sign me up. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the,
Yeah.
you know,
And so we just keep coming back to connection. And
connection.
that's really what I keep feeling and hearing. We both have said it repeatedly. That brings me to your relationship capital. And I love that you are so focused on connection and relationships. I love the concept. And so I want you to share with everybody what relationship capital actually is and why you believe that our relationships are our greatest assets, even in business.
So relationship capital equals the people that you know times actions. And then there's the compounded one, which is the relationship capital is the people that you know. I should say it's actions times the people that you know to the nth degree of the people that your people know.
Mm.
So, and why do we compound it like that? It's when you meet somebody and you have an action, what do you do? Like, so it's, the couple that I met them, we ended up going on a hike. I was on a podcast and I ended up becoming a co-author with the podcast host. Every person you meet, if you can leave them that relationship capital, it's capital is money, right?
Mm.
It's wealth. And wealth is not always physical money. It's it's the it's the full cup in your mind. It's
Mhm.
it's and our worth and how we feel really good when we put our head on the pillow at night. So when you have and you meet somebody and you have an action and you follow up with them, you're building something really beautiful. And today, more than ever, those relationships matter to how you interact with other people and how you will grow your business, how your
Mm.
team operates. Because, when you're a leader, if I get to know the people on my team and what they want, then what are you going to do? You are going to help them get there. Hopefully, if you are a good leader. And it might not be under your stewardship. It might be that you say, oh, you know what, Heather, you need to know Joe. Why do I need to know? Joe, you told me that you want X. He's really good at X,
Mhm.
right? So, how can you make those connections? How can you help somebody else, right? And it's more than ever today in business because we are bombarded. If you're, whether you're on LinkedIn, you're on Instagram, you're on
Mhm.
Facebook, everybody's pitching you, pitch, 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 pitch. So, if you slow down and reach out with intention
Mhm.
to connect to somebody, it's going to go farther.
You took the words right out of my mouth because I was thinking right before you said it, be intentional about it. Don't just message
Don't just,
everybody that shows up. Yeah.
right. Don't be intentional about it. And here's the interesting thing, some people will not respond. That's okay, right? Some people will, some people won't, and who cares, right? Who cares? Don't worry about who won't. Think about the people that who do, right?
Mhm.
And you are one connection away from something great. I also like to say, for every no you get, you are one no away from a yes. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. So every person you connect with, you're one connection away.
Mhm.
You're one no away from something greater. And
Yeah. And I want to give a super quick example of that. I was in network marketing as well. And I agree with you. There is so much personal development in that space. There is so much you learn about yourself, about what running a business is like, at least a taste of it. And you can take it to whatever degree you want, but I think there's a lot to learn there. But one of the people that I connected with, I had started feeling I wanted to do something different with myself. And I had that, nudge towards what I wanted to do, but it was a very beginning nudge. And I held on to it for a long time. But it was like connecting with this one person started making me really think more about what it is I really wanted to do, which led to other relationships, which led to believing more in myself, which led to doing, which led to confidence, which has led to so many more connections that I am now, okay, instead of thinking little and thinking, maybe I have a lesson to put out there and a blog, it's I'm now a coach, I am an author, I am a speaker, I'm a podcast host, and I've met so many incredible people throughout the world. And it
Right.
all started for me with this one thought that I
Yeah.
started talking to somebody about.
I always say, a connection, knowing who you are is going to help you make the connections. Those connections will build confidence.
Hmm.
That confidence is going to bring you a lifetime
Mm,
of wealth.
yes.
Not just, again, not we're talking about, again, wealth is not about money.
Right.
It's the wealth that you have in your heart. And the more you can connect, it will actually, the money will come. Trust me.
Hmm.
It will flow, it will come.
Yeah. I
But
love it.
but again, it goes back to, if you can say hello to somebody
Hmm.
and smile, that smile might just be what they do to change their life. It might keep them
Absolutely.
from doing something. And so, you know, you you hear this a lot too, because, unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff out there. Instead of just thinking about somebody like, oh, I was thinking about you today, reach out, call them.
Hmm.
Or if you don't know their number, say, hey, you know what? I'm really thinking about you today. I'm just making sure you're like, I just want you to know like how much I value you.
Mm.
Done. Don't ask for anything in return.
Yes.
Just do things again, the intention, but with nothing attached.
And a lot of people think of it as like karma, right?
Right?
But
Right.
you can also say the law of attraction.
Right.
What you put out into the world will come back to you.
Yeah.
So think about who you want to be and what you want to put out into the world and who you want to help and serve and just be to the world.
Right.
And if you think about that unselfishly, that will all
Right.
come back to you.
Right. Boomerang. I call it the boomerang
Yes.
effect, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you've ever, it's you throw it out there and it comes right back to you. So throw it out there and watch it come back. It
Yeah.
might take a little while,
Right.
but that's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yep.
Trust me when I say that. Like, it's okay, right?
It's
It
okay.
will come
Yeah.
back. And
If there, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, because some people said, "Oh, it's not happening fast enough," and I'm like, "No,
Mm.
trust me, karma will happen. It's a bitch."
Yep. Yep. And sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't even see it,
Right.
but it's okay. Just have faith that you're being a good person, you're putting
Yeah.
out good into the world, and good will come back to you because of that.
Yeah.
So if you have a listener today that's here and they want to redefine success for themselves, having listened to all this and say, okay, maybe I need to work on who I really want to be. Maybe I really do need to work on letting things go. Um, what would you say is a place to begin with redefining success for themselves?
Easy and easy to say, hard to do.
Mm,
You really need to sit down if you want to redefine anything in your life. Sit down and write your eulogy. How do you
mm,
want your next years to go? What is your vision for your life? What's your mission for your life? Where do you want, where do you see that you feel that you want your biggest change in you? Now that's sometimes painful.
mhm,
And it might hurt. Change is not easy. And I always like to say this: you cannot spell challenge without change. Think about that,
mhm.
right? So you can't
Yep.
spell it. So in order to change, you have to challenge yourself. So get uncomfortable, but spend time writing it, and write pen to paper,
Mhm,
pen to paper. It's not, and trust me, and I say this, it's not always easy. And I have I have a couple of different journals, like and workbooks basically that help people like walk through those things. But spend some time figuring that out. Figure out also, like, what are your top 5 values? I call it your achievement,
Mm-hmm.
right? What are the 5 values that matter the most to you?
Mm-hmm.
And
You
I
may
think,
surprise yourself because I'll be honest, I found out that one of my top five was freedom. And
mm,
I thought to myself, freedom? I'm really surprised by that. Like, I almost took it for granted. And when I really sat down and looked at my life and what I valued, freedom was one of my top five. And it surprised me.
yeah, they will, it will, sometimes it knocks the socks off your,
Hmm.
feet, because you're like, wow, I wasn't really thinking that that was something
Yeah.
that mattered so much to me.
Hmm.
Like for me, not that I didn't know this, but like authenticity
Hmm.
is really important.
Hmm.
Trust
Yeah.
is huge.
Yep.
Trust is absolutely huge. Enjoyment slash fun, laughter,
Hmm.
huge.
Yep. Yeah, you may be surprised at what you find.
Yeah.
So, I have now we're coming to the end, and I have a couple quick questions for you. So, one of them is, where can people reach you if they are interested? And this will all be in the show notes as well, but how would you recommend people reach out to you?
Um, so the biggest thing that people can do is go to my website, go to Jaclyn Strominger, and I spell Jaclyn without a Q and a K. So it's Jaclyn, and then my last name Strominger, Strominger. Go to jaclynstrominger.com. Connect with me there. Or if you are on LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn and connect on with me on LinkedIn. And if you are also on the school community, you can find me
Mhm.
at Unstoppable Success on School.
Awesome. And I want to just give a shout out to Jaclyn. She has been somebody who's been a friend that I can talk to and run things by, but also we have worked together where she has been helping me and really making a huge difference in my life and in my business. And so I'm super grateful to you, Jaclyn. And I love the conversation. So my final question for you is, after everything that you've learned and done in your life, what does living a life beyond BS mean to you?
It's actually, it's my one word, being authentic to yourself. You have to be authentic to you.
Mm.
If, you know, do the things that make you uncomfortable for the good. But if it doesn't, if it's not something good in the sense that like it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Listen to your gut.
Mm.
Really
Love it.
listen to your gut.
Yeah. And I think we definitely shut that down a lot because society tells us to. But when you start to really tune into that, it can make the world a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
huge.
So, Jaclyn, I want to thank you so much for this time, for sharing your wisdom and your heart and soul, and vulnerability and everything. It's just been so beautiful. I truly appreciate it.
I appreciate you. I love you, Heather. You're so
I
awesome.
love you too. So before we wrap up, I do want to invite you to visit my website. I have a newly updated downloadable workbook. In the top menu, you'll see my free alignment workbook. It's called A Return to You, and it is something that can help you reflect on your own life. And it's a great place to help you start to figure out where your own belief systems and patterns and conditioning may be. And also, I want to say thank you so much to all of you for sharing this space today with me and with Jaclyn. My hope is that you walk away knowing that you have the power to choose differently. Go live fully, freely, and unapologetically. Your life beyond BS starts now. I'm so grateful you were here today. Remember, your peace, joy, and happiness aren't found in the BS. They're found in your choices. If this episode spoke to you, please rate, review, follow, and subscribe, and share it with a friend. For ways to connect or work with me, check the show notes or visit heathermcnally.com. Until next time, Keep choosing you and keep living your life beyond BS.